Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Today, we're going to take a look at Louisville quarterback Lamar Jackson and his passing mechanics. We're going to begin with this 76-yard touchdown on this intermediate cross to number 9. It's a really nice play. Let's look at it one more time and then examine the breakdown of the mechanics. You can see here facing a nickel, drops back 3 steps, hitches, hinges, opens up those hips, delivers the ball in stride, and the rest, because of placement and decent burst by the receiver, 6 points. So let's look at the mechanics in a little bit of detail. First, you've got a nice crossover step on a 3-step drop. Back foot plants, momentum's moving forward, leaning forward, which is good, allows him to hitch a step. And while the feet are maybe a little close together, they're almost shoulder length. He's able to hitch a step a little bit more to keep them at least somewhat balanced. And then when it's time to open those hips, he steps forward. He's got the elbow above the scapula. He's got that scapula retracted. He's able to then generate some velocity because that front leg is coming forward, allows him to rotate his hips in sync with his upper body, and that ball comes out well. And let's take a look again at the arm motion here. Okay, elbow above the scapula, elbows pretty tight in there so that he can deliver that ball, and he's following through after the hips open so that there's good velocity and accuracy. And we're going to look at one more thing about that, which is where the position of the back foot is when he begins that throw. And you're not going to be able to see it from this angle, so we're going to look at it from one more angle in a moment here. But good velocity on this throw, and a lot of it has to do with the way that Jackson's feet, hips, and shoulders are all in sync with the way they should be when making a throw of this nature. So you're going to see the drop back. He's looking to the right, looking off the safety. And you're going to see them kind of draw up the play and show you where this crossing route's going to go. But what we want to look at is the mechanics here. Gets that back foot in the ground. That hitch, he's still looking for this opening to come in terms of the break behind the safety. And he sees that that's going to happen because the safety's working to the right hash. So there's a big opening in the middle, as you can see being drawn by the telestrator. And then watch the release of this throw. What's talked about a lot is the midline of the back foot being aligned with where the receiver's going to be, where you want to throw the ball. And if we were to draw a line here, we're talking about somewhere down here when he releases that ball. And that's pretty much where it drops in. Right on target, in stride. And I can't move in a straight line all that well, so you can tell that even still, the midline of the back foot. So you're getting velocity out of that because of the way that the hips open when you can align that midline of the back foot with the opening of the hips, with the elbow tight in, good over the shoulder throw, velocity, accuracy, very well done. Let's take a look at a couple other plays. This play is going to be an inaccurate throw in the short range of the field, and a lot of it also has to do with Jackson's mechanics. You're going to see a 1-step drop and set up, and then he's going to try and bring that front leg forward and deliver the ball, and the ball's just a little wide of the receiver here. And I think the reason is it comes back to having a set drop back so that you can deliver from a balanced position. And because his feet really don't have an organized manner of setting up in a rhythm, it throws off the rhythm of his release and being in sync, because you can see as he sets up, his feet are very close together. And when he brings that leg around, It's almost like he's rotating a little too far here, and the ball is coming out where the midline of the foot is, which is a little too wide. And a lot of that just has to do, again, with not having a rhythm to get into a balanced setup. And that's important on these short throws, is to be in a rhythm. And if you're not getting your feet in position so that you can deliver that release from a balanced position, you're not going to have a good rhythm, and you're going to end up over-rotating at times. And that's exactly what happens here. So this is more of a mechanical thing. It's more of getting him used to maybe taking a couple of short steps rather than taking one wide step, or getting his feet into a better position off quick throws, so that if he's like this, that he can get that front foot into position before he throws the ball or begins the release, and he's not over-rotating. So a lot of this is timing, but it's from a technique standpoint of setting up his feet and his balance position so that it doesn't all deteriorate because of the fact that he's not balanced from the beginning. And you're going to see what I'm talking about on display on the play after this 3rd and 6, where it actually works out for him. Because you're going to see, first, watching the play, he's going to look to his left. After he looks that off, he comes back to his right on the slant, on the inside slot, hits it in stride, and it's very nicely done. Now, look at the footwork, and you're going to see that he has a little bit more time here. He takes one step back, and now his feet are close together, but because now that he's turning back to the right, he's having to reset his feet. So they're about shoulder width. Then he's able to step forward from a balanced position. Midline of that back foot's in good position, and he hits that receiver in stride. Now, this turns out to be a fumble on the play from what the defender does to whip the receiver around. But from a mechanic standpoint for the quarterback, you're looking at him to use good footwork with the drop and setup so that he's in a balanced position, so that when he opens up the hips, everything's in sync, and it's an on-time, accurate throw with good velocity. You can almost tell when Jackson's going to be inaccurate on a play just by his feet. I mean, watch this right here. Before I even saw the outcome of this play, I watched this and saw that his foot was already coming forward. He was off balance, and he's over-rotating. I'm thinking this ball's going to go wide. And there it is, wide. Could have been picked off. It's about getting a good, clean, balanced setup. And when he doesn't have it, he's out of sync, rotates too far, ball goes wide. Here's another good example of Jackson throwing the ball with decent accuracy and velocity. This one's from the opposite hash, and it's because, again, he has a good drop back. He's able to throw from a balanced position. Let's watch it one more time. 3-step drop. He's got his feet at about shoulder width. He's able to hitch, feet at shoulder width as he makes the turn. Steps into the throw. Midpoint of the back foot. Pretty well done. Now, the coverage isn't fantastic, but again, we're talking about mechanics. We're not talking about what the coverage did. There's a lot to work with here with Jackson and what his mechanics are capable of helping him do. He's just going to have to learn how to establish rhythm when it's even shorter drops or when he's resetting after he's dealing with pressure. But when you can give him that time to drop back like this, reset his feet, hitch, hinge, does pretty darn well. So these are some of the things that we're looking at when we talk about Lamar Jackson's mechanics. When he can throw the ball down the middle of the field and open those hips and have a nice systematic setup from a drop and deliver the ball, very balanced, looks good. But like many young quarterbacks, if you're going to have to throw outside the hash and turn your body to deliver the ball outside the hash on maybe short drops where you don't have a systematic way of dropping back and setting up, that can take you out of a rhythm, not only with the drop back, but with the setup and the release. And these are things that Jackson's going to have to work on. And if he's working on these things and he can develop a little bit better feet to maneuver and manipulate, just like he's doing on this particular play, where he can hitch to stay in balance with his, legs, his feet, and his shoulders being aligned, so that he can throw from a balanced position and really get that back foot in position where he needs to be towards the receiver and release those hips. He looks great. So that's a little bit about Lamar Jackson and what he's going to need to work on and what many quarterback prospects have to work on. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, the RSP Film Room, or my blog, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.